Mankind's greatest inventions, making the impossible possible, are no longer under our control.
Technological strength will just become a threat to the Earth.
When network engineers first thought about how to design a network, the one thought that was guiding their decision-making was, we don't know how people will want to use that network. And so they said, because we don't know, we need to build this network in a way that's as general as possible. That means if a new application comes on the market, the only thing that decides whether this application will be successful is what users think about this application. The best application wins.
And we've wrangled with this problem of audience for many years now. When Google launched Plus, they introduced circles, this form of asymmetric sharing where you could segment your audience and share with certain groups what you wish to. And Facebook followed suit with smart lists. What they both failed to understand is the core problem there. It's not the audience, it's your context within that audience. It's not who you share with, it's who you share as, and your context within that group. Who I am as Chris, the speaker on the stage, is different from who I am as a son, as a friend, as a coworker, and hopefully one day as a husband and a father, because we all have multiple identities. And that's not something that's abnormal, it's just a part of being human. Because identity is prismatic. There are many lenses through which people view you, and we're all multifaceted people. Google and Facebook would have you believe that you're a mirror, that there is one reflection that you have. There's this one idea of self. What you see in that mirror is what everybody else sees. But in fact, we're more like diamonds. You can look at people from any angle, and you can see something totally different, and yet they're still the same.
But the most powerful brick in the Great Firewall isn't a piece of technology at all. Over the years, the Chinese have instituted a formidable culture of self-censorship. If you own a website hosting company, for example, you're held responsible for its content. So every provider hires staff, dubbed Big Mamas, to find offending content on their sites and harmonise it. Blocked. But it's not just local companies that filter the net in China. For years, Google voluntarily filtered search results. In fact, searches for banned religious sect the Falun Gong would only lead you to condemning articles. Although Google have threatened to stop filtering results, Yahoo still do, and much more. In 2001, Yahoo passed on the user details and emails of a Chinese journalist, Wang Xiaoning, to the authorities. He's in jail now, sentenced for 10 years.
But recently, I've become intrigued by a different way of thinking of large human crowds, because there are circumstances where they can do something really cool. It's a phenomenon that I think any organization or individual can tap into. It certainly impacted the way we think about TED's future, and perhaps the world's future overall. So let's explore. The story starts with just a single person, a child, behaving a little strangely. This kid's known online as a little demon. He's doing tricks here, dance tricks, that probably no 6-year-old in history ever managed before. How did he learn them? And what drove him to spend the hundreds of hours of practice this must have taken? Here's a clue.
Step your game up, oh! Step your game up, oh!
So that was sent me by this man, a filmmaker, Jonathan Chu, who told me that was the moment he realized the internet was causing dance to evolve. This is what he said at TED in February. I mean, in essence, dancers were challenging each other online to get better. Incredible new dance skills were being invented. Even the 6-year-olds were joining in. I mean, it felt like a revolution. And so John had a brilliant idea. He went out to recruit the best of the best dancers off of YouTube to create this dance troupe, the League of Extraordinary Dancers, the LXD. I mean, these kids were web-taught, but they were so good, they got to play the Oscars this year.
The key thing you found in terms of the impact of the internet, one thing you talk about is this idea called plasticity.
Right. And I mean, one of the curious things about my own experience was that the time I spent online seemed to be influencing the way I think, even when I wasn't in front of a computer, when I was sitting down and trying to read or trying to concentrate. And what I found is the recent discoveries about what brain scientists call neuroplasticity really helped kind of unravel that conundrum. Because what brain scientists have discovered over the last couple of decades is that even as adults, our brains are very malleable, very plastic, and they're constantly adapting down at the cellular level to what we use our minds for, to our environment, and so forth. And so what we can, I think, theorize is that as we train our brains to take in information very, very quickly, in a very interrupted, distracted way, little bits of it coming at us all the time, the way we experience it online, that strengthens those parts of our brain that are good at multitasking and good at zipping, shifting our focus very, very quickly. On the other hand, we're not exercising those parts of our brain that are involved in deep concentration, deep attentiveness, things like contemplation and reflection. And so what happens in the brain is that, what we use gets stronger, the actual cellular connections, and what we don't use weakens.